foothills of the Berkshire Mountains in western Massachusetts lies a town called Becket. It's best known for its Jacob's Pillow Dance Company and the Appalachian Trail, but today I'm driving to see one of its other treasures, an abandoned quarry. In its heyday, this quarry provided stone for monuments all over the country. Today, it's an excellent place to hike and explore the plethora of antique equipment just left behind. I'm here at the Becket Quarry in Becket, Massachusetts. I think it was originally called the Chester Hudson Quarry. This was an operation from the 1850s to the 1960s, a little over 100 years. And the funny thing is, when the quarry company left the place, they just abandoned all this beautiful equipment. These state-of-the-art drills, these rail lines, all sorts of stuff we're gonna see on this hike. So we're a little further up the path, maybe 3/4 of a mile from the parking area. And if I can get over this down tree, we'll see up here the start of the quarry. Basically, the way they mined here, they didn't dig. It was like they just chopped the mountains apart, kind of like the way they do in West Virginia. And at the top of this big pile of granite, there's actually some old rail bed and some pretty spectacular views of the countryside. So that's the trail we came from. We're here at a junction of 4 different trails. That was clearly kind of the hub of the operation that was here. This is where a bulk of the equipment still lies around. Over here, this was an electrical operations shed, I believe. Yeah, that housed the main generator. I read online that when this place was first formed, it used a bunch of experimental technologies, including air compression drills and early use of electricity. Here's a better look at that old electrical shed. And when we go down back to this main junction that I guess was the central hub of the operation, there are a couple old vehicles. This one right here was actually an air compression truck. It just held a big air compressor that was used for, well, I guess for blasting and for pumping. Much of it has been looted, but the chassis is still here. The steering wheel, amazingly, is still here. No idea when this was from. The quarry was abandoned in the 1960s, so it might be like looks like 1920s or 30s era vehicle. Here's a closer look at that other abandoned truck at the trail junction. This was just for hauling, nothing to do with air compression. It's got some writing on it. Let's see, General Asphalt Paving of Philadelphia. All right. Now this is coming up on one of my favorite spots in the park. You can see some more old cables down here. And this is one of the original quarries, which has since filled up. I came here last fall and it was absolutely gorgeous. I wish I took video of that. But here you can see, I'm gonna zoom out a little more so we get a better picture. You can go right up to the edge, and that's probably a good, I'd say 65 foot drop from the top of that hill over here too. I know when I was a kid, people would always jump off that top right there into the water below. You're obviously not supposed to, but it's kind of a local tradition. On the way up, I noticed this rope dangling over the water, so people clearly, swing into the water off of that, have a great time. I'm here at the top of that boulder pile. You can see the impressive view here. That's the quarry down below. People actually jump off this ledge right from around here into the water. Crazy, it's like 60 feet. I wouldn't do it. But yeah, you can see the Berkshire Hills, the skyline in the horizon. You really have an impressive view over here. Here we have the old rail line I was talking about. Obviously, this wasn't used for passengers. It was used for loading up big pieces of granite and getting it onto the rail and taking it all the way to Boston and Maine and wherever the heck else they used this granite. But you can see what an incredible view for a rail line. It just goes up the top of this ridge over this way too. They've torn it out here and it's become kind of jagged. But the piece they have left is just, I don't know. For someone who loves mountains and loves trains, I love this spot. So we're coming down off that second boulder pile, and you can see there's just abandoned, rusted out cabling strewn about, pipes on the ground. Obviously a gigantic pulley once stayed here. There's that pulley system we just looked at. You can see there's just these old cables just in the ground and pipes everywhere. God knows how deeply they're buried or how long they've been there. And up here, yet some more gears and pulleys and pipes. Yeah, all just left here. Tons and tons of equipment. I guess they decided it just wasn't cost effective to pull it away, and when they closed operation in the 60s, they just left it all right here. I'm further along from that first quarry site, and you can see there's another storage facility here of some kind. Looks like this may have been a garage, considering the two bay doors right there for some of their equipment. And in the ground, we have more of those abandoned rail tracks. You can see here, it looks like it goes into a tunnel that goes right through this mountain. We're gonna try to get through there, see how far we can go. Oh yeah, it's really wet down here. I'm glad I wore my boots for this. And you can see there's still slabs of ice down here. And the railroad tracks just go right in there. Let's keep going. Let's see how far we can go. Try not to get water on my phone. Yeah, you can see these slabs of ice. I wonder if these even melt. Ooh, careful not to slip. There's some of the railroad tracks I'm gonna walk on. And that looks like, I was gonna say it looks like it's been sealed, but they just never drilled there. It's never been opened up. This is as far as it went. Considering the number of drill holes in the granite though, it makes you wonder if they tried to drill and just abandoned. Turning around, you can see there's not much clearance here. I'm guessing they backed something into the mountain that they wanted protected from the elements. Maybe some hydraulic, I don't know, air compression tank or something. Why else would they have tracks in here? Very cool though. All right, let's try to get out of here. From that rail tunnel, I decided to take a detour and go up to a trail called the Vista Trail. It takes you up to the top of this mountain, and you can see it's got some pretty sweet views here. A nice little granite bench for people to sit on. And again, that hill right over there. I'm walking that beautiful Vista Trail. I can see why it's named that. This might be the most beautiful trail in the park. If you're into nature and hiking, not that much abandoned equipment on this side of the park. I guess they just didn't cut over here. But you're basically on the top of a hill. You can see, walking along this ridgeline in the Berkshires, you can hear traffic from, that must be the Mass Pike down there, or Route 20 maybe. I just came to the end of that Vista Trail. I'm actually right here right now, and I'm gonna take this red marked trail up to another old quarry site that's actually on the Otis and Becket town line. Looks like the quarry extends into Otis just a little bit. I'm now standing exactly at the Otis Becket town line. Otis is the neighboring town just south where there's a big Air Force base. It has all been clear cut here, which is great in terms of having views, but it makes the land feel very scarred. Yeah, you can see we're right on the Otis town line right here. And I guess this is the old quarry site. Just a few pieces of metal, but not much heavy equipment abandoned on this side. I wonder why that is. I'm heading back to the parking lot via the Hemlock Trail. And there's this beautiful brook that runs through it. So I'm back at the parking lot now. Today I walked around the old quarry up to that black box where that rail trail is, along the Vista Trail, all the way up to the old quarry, which is technically in the town of Otis. Walked all the way back through this Hemlock Trail and back to here. I was probably here for 2 or 3 hours. I love places like this. I love that all that old quarrying equipment has just been left here. I feel like it's a glimpse in time of history of how things used to be operated. This is Becket Quarry, Becket, Massachusetts. When I moved to Boston 20 years ago, I sold my car pretty quickly, just because you don't really need it in the city. So for the past 10, 15 years, I've been renting cars, which has cost me tens of thousands of dollars. With any luck, this is the last rental car I will ever have. After this, I plan to buy a van, convert it into an overland camping type rig. So I want to record this special moment. This Enterprise Nissan Altima is my last ever rental car. Today is brought to you by North Becket Cemetery in Becket, Massachusetts. This one is also built into the side of a hill, although at the top it kind of levels out. I'm not sure if it keeps going. Lots of gravestones with death dates around the 1860s, which seems to be the case with a lot of the cemeteries around here. One thing I like about this cemetery already is that the Westfield River is right behind where you park. You can hear it roaring in the background. Wow, it's so peaceful to come to a place like this and have that beautiful river to listen to. I love the sound of running water. I just passed the gravestone of a father of someone who was in my class. Didn't even know he passed. They've done a very good job of providing shade in the cemetery. We've got some nice maple here, providing shade, and a nice rhododendron blooming over here. I absolutely love rhododendrons. Becket lies along the Westfield River, which is by far my favorite part of Massachusetts. It's a national scenic river, which has largely protected about 80 miles of it from development. It may just be the last wild place in Massachusetts. About 18 miles downstream from the cemetery is a mountain called Shatterack, and it may just be my favorite place to watch the sunset in this state. I decided to end the day there. I'm on the trail up to Shatterack Mountain summit in Montgomery, or maybe it's Huntington. This has a wonderful view of the Westfield River and the Berkshires down below. One great thing I love about this trail is it's only a 5-minute walk to the ledges from where you park. So if you don't have a lot of energy or don't have a lot of time, this is a perfect little place to catch the sunset. In this part of the state, we're approaching my favorite ledge, which is the first one, right up ahead, or maybe not the first one. Let's take a look. You can see the view from this ledge. You can see the mountaintops, but you can't really see the river from here. You can if we go a little further up, and there's a great little sapling that I like to use as a foreground. Let's keep going. So I'm approaching the second ledge on Shatterack Mountain, which is where I normally like to shoot, even though there are more further up. There's a sapling right here, some sort of, looks like a white pine, that I like to use as a foreground for my shots. But wait till you see the view from this easy to access little spot on a little cove in Montgomery, Mass. It's just spectacular. And with a telephoto lens, you can even see Mount Greylock. and the Prue Tower in the distance. This is where I'm gonna shoot the sunset tonight. I was treated to a fiery sunset in Shatterack, but all I could think about is how nice it would be to car camp there at the trailhead or at a nearby campground and not have to drive all the way back to Boston and return this car to the rental lot at 9 in the morning, a tradition I'd come to despise. When I said I was thinking of buying a van, the truth is I already ordered one back in January of 2021. But it would take 6 or even more months to deliver. Who knows when I'll get it. So for now, I decided to rent this car out for a whole nother week and make the most out of my last ever rental car road trip experience. In the meantime, please hit like below to help me out and hit subscribe to follow for the rest of these road trips. I hit some places that are just amazing and will blow your mind. And when I get the van and travel across the country, I have so many places to show you guys. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Thanks for following.